disease, asthma, COPD. I can give you a good long list, but I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for me at all. I've given my life to the Lord a long, long time ago, and just thanking for every day to have the opportunity. Like Don Green says, he wakes up every single day, and the first thing he does, he says, "Dear Lord, who can I help today?" And so I'm in an incredible group of people that I love and respect. And so what I'm basically saying is that I've had all this time to reflect, and I really sometimes don't know how it's going to end up and where I'm trying to go. But I know one thing, that I know it's going to happen, because that's the faith that I have. And so, again, I just want to thank you for being in my life. Jim, you're a great man, and I love you. And anything you'd like to say right now to close out the show? This show's a lot shorter than most of my shows, because it doesn't need to be long. It just needs to be to the point. So I don't want to ask any specific questions about how you get people to get up out of their chair that are depressed and just won't listen. They just won't go forward. That's my biggest question that I live in life. So maybe I will ask you just for a thought on that. Everybody says, you got to love them. You can't enable them. You got to let them know you're there. You never give up on them. But there's a lot of people in my life and in most people's lives that they're just depressed with their life, and it's a cycle that they can't break. And so reading your books will pop people out if they would read, but the people that I'm talking to, they generally don't read. And so you can give them a book, you can take them to the page, but they won't. So I think the biggest burden that I carry in my life and what I've done that the Lord's called me to do is those that are falling through the cracks, that are the ones that are just at the lowest point. When I love on them and empathize with them and try to give them a hug and say, "Hey, I've been there too. And I've been there too. I haven't shared a good portion of my life. That's the really, really dark years when I was young, when I sort of I came out of it, so to speak. But everybody says the same thing. You can't do it for them. It's their choice. They have to make the choice. But I'll ask you this in closing. What's a good way, beyond the basics of loving them and knowing, letting them know that you're there and caring for them and never giving up? What's a good way? Prayer is the only answer that I've come up with, is to just give it up to God. I'd like to throw that one to you.
Well, you cannot change other people. And prayer is great. Rarely does God change things. God changes people. People change things. I can sit here all day and pray that my lawn gets mowed. There are a few miracles in the Bible where it shows something like that happen. But by and large, if I want my lawn mowed, I've got to get inspired, which means the energy of God within is what inspired means. And I've got to get there and go out and do something. God changes people, people change things. And we can't motivate people beyond where they are. But if we can give them a vision of who they might be, life isn't fair. I get that. I get it. I mean, you're talking to a blind guy. I get the fact that life isn't fair. And we don't always get what we want or need or deserve or earn. But we will forevermore get what we expect. And everyone listening to us or watching us right now, if you'll be totally honest with yourself, no matter how far up or down the ladder you are, you're about where you expected to be. But the great thing about that is you can change that today, because you change your life when you change your mind. You're one quality decision away from anything you want. And it starts now. You have the right to choose. And anytime you don't like any part of your life, just get up off of your blessed assurance and go change the channel. It's all about you. You get to decide. But once you decide, make a commitment and give yourself a promise. This is what I'm going to do. And then keep that word to yourself. Because, Steve, if you'll lie to you, you'll lie to me. So the first person you got to be honest with is yourself. And then from that day forward, tomorrow will be anything you want it to be based on the choices you make right now. And everybody within the sound of my voice has the wherewithal in their life to make that decision. And I can only hope and pray they will. And just like you, I will tell anybody, anytime you don't believe this works, anytime you need encouragement, anytime you need some help, you can Jim at Jim Stovall, Stovall, Jim at JimStovall.com or 918-627-1000. And I will return your call or respond to your email every time, because that's a commitment I made to me. And so I've extended it to you. So I hope everybody that's a part of this presentation today will make a change, because learning the information and not applying it is about as useless as you can be. It doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you do. And we all have the ability to make that change right now. And if not now, when? And if not you, who? Today's the day.
Today's the day. I'm going to recommend your series of Wisdom for Winners. Every page has Today's the Day at the end of each one. I recommend this strongly. If you're not a reader, but you've listened to this show, start reading. It's a great series of books to read because they're all generally about 3 pages. You don't have to get deep into a novel that you can't finish, and you'll learn something from it. And so, Jim, you've quoted Harry Truman in One Season of Hope, and I love this quote. I mean, I started taking notes and copying and pasting into my notes all these things that were in that book, and it was overwhelming, but I think I have brought some of them forth. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts. I like that. That one's right to the point. So yeah, I'd like to end it right now with basically saying that we set out today to talk about managing expectations and initiatives. We didn't use the word initiative, but everything that we've talked about, that Jim talked about the last couple minutes here, that's about taking the initiative, getting up out of your chair and moving forward. And so I just want to say that don't be hung up with semantics. It's the action. We started off the first show in this series, faith without works is dead. We're talking about actions and doing things, not just saying things. I did a show, I don't know what episode it was, but the title of it was Initiative versus Inertia. And so I deal with a lot of the things we're talking about there. But with that said, everyone, we've been blessed today. We've been honored by you, Jim. And again, I just want to tell you, in life, it takes sometimes believing that if you make that phone call, somebody's going to answer it. And you answered my call, and you've been there for me, and we've touched a few lives together. But I just want to say thanks for doing this conversation with me today. Thanks for being the person that you are. And may you be always just healthy and safe, and you and your loved ones. And thank you for what you do. God bless you, Jim.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this. Go out and read some books, especially Jim Stovall books, and call me if you need me, rightthink.org. And have a wonderful week. God bless everyone.
Thanks for listening to Right Thinking with Steve Copeland. I look forward to being with you again next week. And remember, don't quit, plan ahead, it will get better. God bless you and have a great week.